I'm going to go ahead and get started because we have a pretty good percentage of the folks who registered. So I'm going to start with a few housekeeping items. So thanks again for joining us for today's webinar from the Coastal Housing Partnership. This is a unique webinar because we are kind of co-hosting through our new partnership with the Housing Trust Fund. You are a member of the Coastal Housing Partnership through your employer, and so we're going to talk about the benefits that are available to you through that, as well as some of the resources that Housing Trust Fund brings. And so I'm excited to bring this webinar to you. And before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items as far as webinars are concerned. Unlike a regular Zoom meeting, you will not be able to unmute yourself, and we don't see you as attendees, but you see the presenters and the hosts. But you will be able to ask questions, and we hope that you will through the question and answer section. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to enter those, type those out in the question and answer section, and we will address them as we're going or get them at the end if we don't have a chance during the presentation. So please, that's a great way, and we hope that you will interact that way through the question and answer section. The chat will not be visible to everybody, so in the webinar, that's what we use the question and answer for. So I'm going to introduce our presenters, and then we will get started today. So my name is John Peterson. I am the CEO of both the Coastal Housing Partnership and the Housing Trust Fund through our strategic partnership. And we'll be sharing ideas from both organizations, as well as Yvette Lounsbury, who is our, with the Housing Trust Fund, our program coordinator for the Workforce Homebuyer Program. And she will talk about some of the specifics and works with all of our, everybody who participates in the program. Alexandra is our marketing with the Coastal Housing Partnership, and she'll be helping us host and answering and identifying your questions as they come up through the webinar. So as I mentioned, your employers are all members of the Coastal Housing Partnership, which gives you access to several different benefits. And so I'm going to go through those quickly, and then we'll spend most of our time talking about the down payment assistance program through the Housing Trust Fund. So as a member of the Coastal Housing Partnership, you have access to home buying education like this webinar and our webinar series. We also have home buying fairs. Our next one will be in April in Ventura. These are great opportunities for you to meet lenders and realtors, talk to several of them. We do in-person webinar or seminars similar to the webinars at those events, and it's a great opportunity. A lot of people meet their who they ultimately work with as realtors and lenders. So it's a good place to connect and ask questions. In addition to the education pieces, there are savings associated with the partnership. And when it comes to the home purchasing side of things, the benefits are received at closing. The realtors offer a 20% credit of their commission towards your closing costs, as well as lenders offer reduced or no origination fees. Now, these need to be realtors or lenders who are network partners with the Coastal Housing Partnership, and you can find a full list of all of them on our website, coastalhousing.org. If you have someone that you know or already work with, you can check if they are already members, and if they're not network partners, they can contact us to find out how to become a network partner. If you own a home or want to own a home, our lenders also offer the same discount on refinancing. So it's a way for you to save anywhere from about $300 to $1,000 on the cost of a refinance as well. We also have, although we won't spend much time on it today because we're talking about down payment, which is for home ownership, but we do have a rental site, rentals.coastalhousing.org, where you can find rental listings, including some rentals that have discounts associated with them through the landlords. Again, find out more about all of this information on the Coastal Housing website, or you can contact us directly. So last year, the Coastal Housing Partnership joined a strategic partnership with the Housing Trust Fund of Santa Barbara County. We felt like there was a lot of benefits to local employees as well as to the community at large in the organizations working together. And so the Housing Trust Fund of Santa Barbara County, in addition to funding development projects for low-income housing, they have a down payment assistance program that is open to the community. And so you can kind of get double benefits. That's one of the great opportunities for employees of Coastal Housing Partnership employers is that you can take advantage of the down payment programs and get your discounts on the purchase through the network partners. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Yvette to tell us a little bit more about the specific down payment program that's available now for all community members and how you can take advantage of that. So Yvette.
Hi, my name is Yvette. I'm the administrator for the Home Buying Down Payment Program for Santa Barbara County only. We have all the way from Buellton past Guadalupe to Carpinteria. That's where you must purchase a home. We're only down payment. We work with lenders in conjunction with also escrow to close the home. So one of the main requirements is you must put at least 3% down of the purchase price. So that's one of the main requirements. The second main requirement is that you must work in Santa Barbara County. Doesn't have to be all bars, must be at least one bar must work in Santa Barbara County. We do allow retired as well. And then the third one is that you can't have owned a home within the last 3 years to use our down payment program. So we're a down payment program that helps first-time home buyers. It's basically to allow employees to establish roots in the community they live in. And that's what our main motto is, to keep employees here in town and not leave the county. So another item is that we can go up to $125,000 or 20% of the home purchase price. So we're basically a second, but we're a lot cheaper than mortgage insurance. So this is kind of helpful when payments are done. Our payments can be a little bit lower. Borrower qualifications, they must be a first-time home buyer. We do have maximum income levels. For this particular program, the income cannot exceed 230% of the area median income for Santa Barbara County, which is 1 to 4 persons, $273,900, or 5 to 8 persons, $361,600. So that's how that works. Again, like I said, you must work in Santa Barbara County. U.S. citizen, naturalized citizen, or permanent resident alien are allowed, is required. And then the homes have to be located in Santa Barbara County. They must be move-in ready. Single family, condos, townhomes, mobile homes only with a permanent foundation, which they own the land underneath. We can't do leased mobile homes. We do require health and safety items to be up to code once we get the inspection report. And And then the other requirements is that they must complete a home buyer education. We find that people who have taken home buyer education courses have a lower, what's it called when you,
Default.
yeah, default. They have a lower default once they have completed an education course. They must be pre-approved. I always tell people that you must work with one of our approved lenders, but the first thing to do is get pre-approved with one of our lenders. And that'll tell you how much you qualify, how much you can purchase, and if you qualify for our down payment program. We require at least 1 to 2 years employment for each borrower. And then another item is income has to be certified. What that means is we work with other partners to make sure the household doesn't exceed the combined household income limits we talked about. So even though maybe an uncle might not be on the loan, he's in the household. So we have to factor in that person's income. So usually we have a partner who does our income certifications per household. And then our fees, it's only 0.2 of the origination fee. So you're looking at maybe on 100, $100, 125. Community partners sometimes do charge for the home buyer education. Usually it's $99. And then the first mortgage usually charges their fees on their end. Is there any questions, John? Should I ask for any questions? No? Okay. We are a second. We will be coming in second lien. What that means is that you'll have your first mortgage and then you'll have your second lien. So it'll be 100,000 if that's the case, your first mortgage and then your second. We have interest only payments. And then the loan is due in 10 years. And we think that by then you have already established enough equity to pay us back, and then we can use it to other first-time home buyers. So we do give leeway if things happen up to 2 years. We know some things may happen and cannot pay in 2 years. In 10 years. You can make extra payments on it. Our servicer right now, who's taking the payments, is Montecito Bank and Trust. So they will take the payments on your behalf for this program. What else? Interest only, no principal.
Yeah, so I'll just jump in and say if you do have questions, feel free to enter those in the question and answer section. We'd love to get to what you would like to know and make sure we answer those questions. But quickly, this is just to summarize. Yeah, it's up to $125,000 or 20% of the home purchase price. It's a 10-year interest-only loan at a 6.25% rate. And this program is pretty unique in that it allows for incomes up to 230% of the area median income. So there are other housing programs that are for lower incomes, but this one goes up to 230% AMI, which is $273,000 for a family of 4. And so this is a pretty broad a resource for a broad number of community members.
John?
Yeah.
When you get a chance, I do want to go over the second page as well.
You want to talk about that?
It's just a summary of the. It's fine either way, but the first page is fine.
Yeah. Were there some points you wanted to make off of it?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, we do have all local lenders. It's on the second page of this, and they can qualify you on a mortgage. Also, it lists our community partners for income certification, home buyer education. And then also it has a summary of what I just talked about, the steps to take. So it's a flyer. If someone has questions, I can email this flyer to them, or if they have more in-depth questions, I can also talk to them about that.
Great. Yeah. So as a member of Coastal Housing Partnership, I'd encourage you to check out the lenders if you are interested and are considering buying a home. If you don't already have a lender, the network partners are always happy to talk with you, help you starting the process, and just let them know that you're interested in the down payment loan through the Housing Trust Fund as a down payment assistance, and then we'll work with them to qualify you for this. So, any questions at this point, Alex? Okay. So I wanted to give you a little, oops, excuse me. I'm going to run through this just to give you some real world examples as to some items you might find. So again, this program is available throughout the Santa Barbara County, and it can be for condos or homes and in certain areas of the community. Not every area is going to make a lot of sense just because of prices, but certainly we can explore it in all cases. So here's a couple of examples for an $875,000 home or a $1 million home. In both cases, we're coming to a total down payment of 20%, but again, you do not have to go that high. That would be depending on the loan program you get from your first lender. But as Yvette said, you do need to put down a minimum of 3% of your own monies plus the maximum $125,000 of the down payment program. Part of the rules for first lenders and for us for the second is what's called the income ratio. And so you can't, your debt payments cannot exceed 40% of your income. That's a pretty standard rule so that people are not cost burdened by their housing. And so we have a couple different percentages. A little bit lower is even better, but oftentimes we're pushing those income ratios here in Santa Barbara County. So at these income levels of $255,000, these are your maximum housing payments based on these percentages, 38 or 40%. This is just to give you a couple different interest rates. Obviously, that will depend on the loan program of your first loan and the current rates that are available at the time that you purchase. One of the things to note is that property insurance has gotten quite a bit more expensive and harder to get. Where that wasn't a big consideration in the past, you will want to consider that early on, find out how much it will be for the specific home you're looking at, because that will impact your total amount that you can pay. Getting back to that income ratio. Property taxes will be a percentage of the purchase price. And then the payments on the down payment loan, the interest only payments at 6 1/4. And so after your portion of the down payment, plus the additional down payment loan, these are the first mortgage amounts and the calculations for those. So this is to give you an example of what some of the numbers might look like. Obviously, they'll be different and unique to each scenario, given the purchase price and your specific household income, but we wanted to give you some examples there. Questions? Feel free to type any questions you have there. We want to make sure that we can answer anything that you are curious about. If you are interested in buying, I'll go back up to the contact info. Feel free to contact myself or Yvette with additional questions. Our emails are here. You can visit both websites, either coastalhousing.org to find a list of network partners, or you can, let's see, there's one question here. Sure. So the question is, can you explain the difference between using the down payment loan option being presented and paying mortgage insurance? So mortgage insurance is typically required when you are not putting 20% down. That is an insurance that is paid to the lender to cover their risk when you have less than 20% down. This is different because you are reducing your first loan by increasing your down payment. You are paying interest only, but you can pay down principal if you'd like. The difference being that you can refinance this second loan or pay it off when you sell the home. Mortgage insurance is just what it sounds like. It is insurance, so it's an added cost to the first loan if you are not putting 20% down. All right. Leader bank account. Great. So Yvette, can you tell us a little bit about the process as far as interacting with the first lender and with you and how that process works?
Sure. The first step is getting pre-approved with a lender. With that, the lender will tell you again how much you qualify based on your income, what amount of down payment assistance you can get, the max. And then from there, you would have a pre-approval letter. And then you would work with your realtor of where the property you're looking to buy or in the area. And then after that, once you find a home and you agree, the seller and the buyer go into contract, we work closely with the lender and escrow to make sure everything goes smoothly. And we help close the property that you purchase. It's a lot goes on behind the scenes when I work with the first lender and escrow, but it's usually smooth sailing from beginning to end, depending, on how fast you want to close.
Yeah, so you definitely want to communicate to your realtor and lender that you're intending to participate in this program and also that you are a member of the Coastal Housing Partnership, so you can get all of the financial pieces lined up from the very beginning. Yvette, can they do the education at any point, or do they have
Yes,
to wait?
the education can be done at any point. You can do the pre-approval first and the home education after. But it's got to be 8 hours of education online. And we have partners that can walk you through the process on that as well. So, and then the income certification for the household income is usually done when you go into escrow and you find the home. And that's usually it's not a cost, but sometimes it is.
And we're trying to work with more partners so that there's not a cost for that. But some of the other resources, especially the education, does have a cost. There's also often costs associated with home inspections, sometimes appraisals, depending on the situation. So there's some other upfront costs, and there will be closing costs, but that's where the partnership offers some benefits through discounts for that.
Your first lender, they are very knowledgeable in our process, so they will probably be the ones guiding you, but I'm always available for any other questions for the down payment. But they will let you know, we need an income cert, you need to get it done, we need this, so they know our list of items that is required. And then the inspection report, that's a main one. We're looking for health and safety items. So once you go into contract, we require an inspection report and we will look at it for the health and safety items. And those must be repaired or updated before closing. Any other questions?
Great. So that largely covers the discussion and the items that we wanted to share. You can always visit our websites to find out more, as I said, or contact us directly. But that we're here now to answer your questions. If you have a question or concern or something you're wondering about, others may also. So please feel free to enter those. This will be available, is being recorded and will be available, and we will send that out to all of you as well, so you can get our emails from there, from the employee.
I just want to address a couple things with our down payment program. A lot of home buyers, our program helps with affordability with the high payment. We can come in and our down payment is a little bit lower for payments. Also, cash to close. People find that our using our money can help it better because they can use their money to renovate and go from there. Also, you're establishing roots in the community, and it's just a great program for first-time home buyers. You owe it to yourself and your families, and it also builds generational wealth down the line.
Yvette, there is a question about the next steps in the process. Can you go over that again?
Yes, you would need, I can give you a list of the lenders, approved lenders that we go through to get a pre-approval, and then they will determine the amount you qualify for.
Yeah, so your next steps would be to contact a lender, because you will need a first mortgage lender to find out they will tell you about the programs that are available, what you qualify for, and then again, you'd want to inform them that you're hoping to take advantage of this program, so you can include that additional up to $125,000 in your down payment calculation. And so that will change your calculations on what you can afford. And then at that point, that's a good chance to connect with a realtor. So you can go to engage with a realtor and say, here's my pre-approval from my first mortgage lender. Here's what I qualify for. Start looking for a home. And then once you find a home and your realtor has negotiated a sales price, then you will kind of keep moving on the lending process, and we'll get more involved at that point.
But if you really want to know detailed, we do have a website, but a lot of people find that doing the home buyer education course helps them know what property taxes are, insurance required. It just breaks it down on owning a home and what you need to know. So some people do the home buyer education first, because it's so new.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I also have home buyer education partners that I can refer, that's also on our website.
Great.
All right, I think.
All right. Well, thank you for your attendance today. Hopefully this was helpful and interesting info. We will stay on for a few more minutes to answer any questions that you might have. And good luck, and we hope that this was helpful and that you can take the next steps in your home purchasing process.
I just want to go over another sample, if you're interested. We had a down payment success story. We had buyers in Santa Maria who were teachers and they were buying. They wanted to buy, and the seller turned their offer since they were asking for seller credit. And so with our program, they had enough for cash to close. So that was a success story in using our program recently. Because of our down payment, they had enough to buy the home in Santa Maria. They were able to get their offer accepted using our down payment, and they were able to use a little bit of seller credit that the seller had asked about. So those are some of the down payment exit stories I wanted to tell you about.
Yeah, I'll just add one thing, and kind of going back to the question about mortgage insurance and cash to close. Oftentimes, if there are multiple offers or even getting a seller to accept an offer, the more that you're putting down gives a little more security that you're able to close rather than a higher loan amount and loan percentage of the purchase price. And so it can just make you a stronger candidate for buying if you have more cash down, like the down payment program would look like. The payments may be similar, but most likely they'll be a bit lower with the down payment program than they would with mortgage insurance for that amount.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
I just want to also let John, we have other programs besides this one. Sometimes there's funds in it. Sometimes, we're waiting for new funds to come in. But right now, this program has the funds, the 10-year. Did you want to talk about any other programs or no?
Yeah, we do have a new program coming online soon. If you make 80% area median income, so if you make under 100,000, we may have a program, or we have a program that will be coming online that will offer up to 200,000 in down payment assistance, but it is a lower income, and the details of that will be coming out soon. But if that income range is what your household income is, you should definitely reach out to us about that program as well. Great. Well, thank you all for your attendance and your questions. I hope that you will reach out to us with additional questions, and we're here to help you on this process. So thanks so much for your attendance today, and hope you have a great Tuesday.
Thank you.